Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Garden Coach. And let me see. Oh, we're right. I'm right on time. Welcome. It looks like I was trying to see how many people we had signed up already, and it looks like 13. Welcome. And what I need to do is I need to help you understand about the handouts and the link. If you're on here, the 13 of you that are on here, you found the link. And what they've done is our marketing person is having she's sending the email out that has 3 different links. There's a link to the Zoom. There's a link to the handout, and then there's a link to the product list. And they're all on there. You just have to click on every one of them. And I already got some emails saying I didn't get the handout again. So check that email, see if you've got your handouts, and we'll go ahead and get started shortly. What I'm doing, and I've got a front and a back of the topics that I'm going to discuss. And then I have some little bonuses that I decided to throw in as well. I have to tell you, it was all I could do to resist wearing my garden hat, my garden coach hat, but I didn't want to jinx our wonderful weather, because I'm got my fingers crossed that all the snow is gone when we hit 50 on Saturday. And I had one of those problems where the ice formed along my gutters and backed up into my house. But it was only one day, and then it stopped. And you should have seen my husband and I opening the second story windows, removing the screens, and pulling them inside, and then taking a hammer to knock off as many of the icicles as we could. The things you do for fun or not. So what I'm going to do, let me see how many people we have now. 22. Welcome. And I mentioned, for those of you who signed on a little bit late, that the handout is a link on the email that you got, and then the product list that I'm talking about is in that email. And there's 3 separate links that you click on. One is for the Zoom, and then the handout, and then the product list. And then what we've also done is we've set up a display. It's like a cabinet behind, it's not like, it is a cabinet behind the diagnostic desk where my microscope is in the store. And on that shelf are all these products that I've discussed each week in the Garden Coach segment. And you just come in the store and you can find it. If you forget to bring your handout with you, it's on a document holder right in front of where the microscope is. So I'm hoping, and then what I'm going to do is watch for the chat box. And let me see if I can open that up right now. I'm going to share the screen. No, I'm going to do it in a minute. Let me just bring this up large. Yeah, here we go. And then the Q&A and the chat box. The Q&A is the best. If you can access the Q&A, I prefer that, so I can keep track of that. I'm going to move this out of my way so I can see it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put up the chat box too, so that I have that on the other side. And then here's we're going to share my screen, and we can get this show started. Okay, now where are we? Here it is. And what I need to do right here is do my slideshow. I'm going to move this down. Boy, who would ever know that I'm getting techno started? This is smart. There we go. Here we are. Okay, everybody, welcome to Garden Coach 2021. This is the second one of the year, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. Okay, the number one problem that I have been seeing let's not do that yet. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, the number one problem that I have been seeing are oh goodness. Just when I thought I did this right. Let's just bring this down. Oh no. Okay, the number one problem that I've been seeing and having people come in asking questions on is they're worried about their houseplants. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my houseplant? Or it's my houseplant is dying. And good examples are, this is a money tree up, the photo up on the upper right hand part of your screen is a money tree. And they can be a little fussy as far as the watering goes. And then the one down below is it's a classic rubber tree. And what has happened is as the days have been getting longer and longer and longer, guess who notices it even before we do? Although it's getting so obvious these days that even we are noticing that it's light past 5 o'clock, but the plants have noticed it for ever since the first week in January. And we had the shortest day of the year in December 21st, and the days have just been getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And so the plants gear up and they start actively growing. So most of these plants that are showing yellow leaves, you will also see new leaves at all of the tips. And because plants are growing in the same pot that they have been in since last summer, the roots are limited. Roots can't grow anymore. And so plants always want to try to equalize the ratio of roots to top growth. If there's no place for new roots to form, and in a pot, they're limited. And so when they can't form any new roots, they realize, ooh, when we get new leaves at the top, we only have so much to go around. And especially if people aren't fertilizing, and people aren't in the habit of fertilizing because of the advice, don't fertilize in the winter months. So they haven't started fertilizing. And so the nutrients get limited. And so the plant says, you know what, you all guys, you leaves that were down lower on the plant, you can see these leaves are on the rubber tree, it's the very bottom leaf. And on the money plant, it's the lower leaves. What happens is they're not getting as much light as they always normally would get. And so they're not photosynthesizing as much. And when they're not photosynthesizing, they're not making sugars and carbohydrates to give to the roots. And so the plant says, we've got a balance. We've got a balance here. So we're going to make you old guys jump overboard. But before you jump, we want you to empty your pockets. So they can move nutrients from old tissue to new tissue. And the one that is the easiest for the plant to move around is the nitrogen, because it's water soluble. And so what the plants do, and you've heard me say this over and over, there's two pipelines that go in. One is xylem, that's the water. It's really one way. Water goes from the roots out, roots out, roots out. And then there's that's the xylem, xylem. Phloem is two ways. So when plants photosynthesize, making sugar, that gets taken down through the phloem to the roots. Roots get paid. They're like, all right, they store that in the root system, or they send it to another area of the plant. And they keep that open. They keep that open. Normally, the roots would give nutrients back to the leaves. But since that leaf is designated to jump, they don't. They just pull as much out as possible. When all that nitrogen is out, guess why the leaves turn green? Nitrogen is that green source, and it's the source for the chlorophyll. So when it's all pulled out, then the plant sets up an abscission layer. They turn off both pipelines, the water and the phloem and the nutrients, and then the abscission layer forms, and those leaves drop off. Now, unfortunately, we humans noticed yellow more than any other color in the color rainbow. And so we could have a plant that is 98% green and 2% yellow leaf. Did you hear I said yellow leaf? Oftentimes it's just one or two yellow leaves. The rubber tree's got two going on, but we notice that and think, oh my God, something's happening and it's dying. That's not the case. Now, what you can do, and one of the things that really helps is because our furnaces have been going nonstop with all the extreme cold that we have. We're not, we're not watering as efficiently as we should be, even me. And so you want to make sure you're doing that, that weekly watering, and do it right on schedule. I've been so busy setting up the virtual learning center things that on my days off, I've relaxed or done my own paperwork at home, and my plants have suffered. So I've been going 8 days, maybe 9 days between waterings, and my plants are suffering for it. So get on that regular schedule, and that will really help. That's really going to help, your plants. Make sure you don't ever let them sit in saucers of water. And I don't think I did put this on here. What I like is these wonderful tools. It's called the Down Under Plant Stand. You know what? I'm going to unshare the screen so you can see this a little better. Now, where is that? It's over here. Oh, it's not going to do it for me. Don't you hate it when your technology doesn't do what you want it to do? Okay, let's see if this is going to do it. Nope, it's not going to do it. Oh, here we go. Stop share. It's right there. Okay. All right. So now see this cool tool. I call it a tool. It's called the Down Under Plant Stand. And when you look at it, see it has these risers and there's holes in it like this. And this sits in a saucer. And unfortunately on the label, it makes it look like you just put this on the deck and you set your outdoor pots on it to keep it from staining the deck. But the better way to use this is to put it in the saucer or the bottom of a decorative container that your plant is sitting in. And then look how cool this is. These little notches can either snap off, you can break them by bending it, or use kitchen shears and just cut here. And you can narrow this down so it's only 10 inches across. And this will fit in most saucers. So you sit this in the saucer, and then the plant sits on top of it. This can hold 500 pounds. So it's wonderful for those larger plants that you have and pots that you have that it's inconvenient to pick them up, put them in a sink to water them, or in a shower stall to water them. So you have it sitting on here. You want to make sure you're watering sufficiently enough. So I like to say like a pot that's 12 inches in diameter, you want to give it at least, probably 2 quarts of water. So, a quart is 2 cups. And so 2 cups on one side, and pour it in slowly so it saturates the soil and the roots, and then do 2 cups on the other side. And then I like to use the fertilizer afterwards. And I'm going to talk more about that, about the Dynagrow. That'll be our next slide, but you use that as the next step. But this really saves. So you can have as much as 1.5 inches of water sitting in the saucer, and the bottom of the pot isn't sitting in it. You do not want that sitting in the bottom of the saucer. So this is a cool tool, and it comes in 3 different colors to match your saucer. You really don't see it, so I don't know why the color is such a big deal, but anyway. And don't be tempted to go. There's a smaller one that would fit in smaller size pots, but it's only a 1/2 inch elevation, only 1/2 inch. So you can get by with smaller plants, but for the large plants, you want to really get the 1.5 inches, so you can make sure you're watering them, sufficiently. Now let me share this screen again. Here we go. Okay. Oh, okay. It's working. It's working. There it goes. Perfect. And now the next topic. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I'm in the wrong. There it is. All right. So the reason I really emphasize about, making sure that the plants do not sit in a saucer of water is because even with just 1/4 inch of water in the bottom of a saucer, if the pot's sitting in it, and, the bottom of the pot's sitting in water, up 2 inches up into the pot and into the root system is waterlogged soil. And when it's waterlogged, it's like it's holding somebody underneath water. And so those roots they die. And then the other thing that happens is in that environment, it's the perfect situation for the water molds to flourish. And water molds are Pythium and Phytophthora. And Pythium and Phytophthora are the ones that cause these root rots. On the left is a healthy root system. On the right is a damaged root system with root rot. And the brown areas, the brown mushy areas, the brown dry areas are Phytophthora, and the black mushy ones are Pythium, and that ruins those roots. And the plant, it doesn't kill the plant right away, but you lose for every 2 inches that you lose of roots, that's less that it can support on the top, and more leaves that you'll lose in the top. So make sure you don't let them sit in water. Oh, okay. Now, what did I do? Let's go back for a minute. I do want to talk about the fertilizer. So my favorite fertilizer, and I've got a big bottle so you can see it in the little screen on the top. This is the Dynagrow brand, and Dr. David Neal is the scientist that invented this. What makes this the best fertilizer that I've used in the 40 years I've been in the horticulture industry is that it has a higher phosphorus. So it's a 795 higher phosphorus. So you get good, you always get good root support and also flower and fruit support, but it has 11 micronutrients and they're all listed on the back. And all you use is a half a teaspoon, which is this cat bowl, in a gallon of water. And then that's the solution you use to fertilize every week, starting now. And you want to make sure you do that all the way to the end of October. And it will help balance so you won't get these yellowing leaves. Okay, I'm watching the time here. Oh, I went backwards again. That's not good. Okay, here we go. Now, there has been an epidemic of fungus gnats. And fungus gnats look like fruit flies. And we usually see the fruit fly infestation when we have peaches in the house, peaches. Sometimes you get them with bananas, but most often they're always around peaches. Now, people have been going online, how do I get rid of fruit flies? And fruit flies are attracted to vinegar or deteriorating sugars. And so they're attracted to that. Fungus gnats are not. Fungus gnats eat fungus. The larvae eat the fungus in the potting mix, that the fungus that grows on the organic matter in our potting mixes that our plants are growing in. Now you can see in the diagram or in the photo on the screen, you can see the life cycle. You see the actual fungus gnat up in the upper right hand corner, and this is highly magnified. And then in the lower center photo are the larvae. Now I have to be really honest, I have never seen a larva, because they're always below grade and they're really microscopic. And the eggs can stay dormant in the soil for 5 years. 5 years. So what happens this time of year when we're watering our plants more frequently to help them keep up with the transpiration rate of our low humidity in our homes because of our furnaces running nonstop, the lower levels of the pots stay moister longer and those eggs hatch. So then you can see the life cycle. So the eggs hatch in 6 to 4 days. And then let me move this out of the way. Again, this is not going to do that. Hold on, I got to do this. I'm moving this out. I'm going to just get the talk thing out. And you can see then the larvae take 12 to 14 days to go into a pupa. And then the pupa takes 4 to 6 days to turn into an adult. So if you're looking at 14 and 6, you're looking at 20 days, 3 weeks. And then the gnats come out. Now, the cool thing about the gnats, if there is a cool thing, and they don't do any feeding. All the feeding is done by the larva. The only thing that the adults do is try to find a mate and mate, and then lay eggs in all the soil of all your houseplants in your house. Now, they go to windows, they go to computer screens, they'll buzz around your eyes, they go to water sources. they can be really irritating. But again, they only live about 8 to 10 days. And so, so if you have a lot of them that are really driving you crazy, then you can use these. And I'm gonna unshare this screen again so you can see this. Okay, so this is a cool product. These are called houseplant sticky stakes. And it's a modified version of the sticky traps, the yellow sticky traps. And I love these because these come with, look at this cool setup here. These are the yellow sticky traps, and you can see that there's wax paper on them. I'm showing there's 7 of these, and you just break them apart, uncover them, pull the wax paper off. And then look at these cool stakes. I love these. This makes it so easy to use. Okay, see, this is the stake. It's pointed on one end. It has a little hole on this end. So if you want to get a taller, version of it and next to a taller plant, and you stick these together and stick them in the soil, they have to be arranged vertically. So as these insects are flying around, they see that yellow color. They're attracted to it. They fly into the yellow sticky trap, and it's like flypaper. I mean, I grew up in barns, with horses and cows, and we always had flypaper up to keep the flies from bothering our livestock. But so this is a fancy flypaper, and then you can see these little clips right here. And then the yellow trap just slides right in there, and they recommend that you loop it. And I'm going to show you the diagram. They recommend that you loop it. See how it's looped, and it clips, and see you peel the wax paper off right here, and then stick them right in. And as soon as they get covered with fungus gnats, you just throw them away. Hopefully you don't have that many fungus gnats that they get covered. That's pretty gross. But anyway, this is the coolest tool that we have. And again, 7 stakes and 7 traps. So very, very helpful. Okay, let's go back to the shared screen again. Here we go. And all right. Perfect. All right, and let's move on. Oh, you have to have it in here. Okay. All right. Now, I'm also seeing a lot of two-spotted spider mite. And when the way that people first notice this is that you see sticky surfaces underneath the plant on the tabletop, or you'll notice sticky leaf surfaces. And that's from what we politely call honeydew. And honeydew is the excrement. These insects are sucking insects. And you can see on the far left side, this is magnified probably about 50 times, it's a 50x. So you can see the 2 spots on it. You can see that they're spider mites because they have 8 legs, 4 on each side. And then the little round balls are eggs, and the eggs last for 5 years. They can stay unhatched for 5 years. What triggers eggs to hatch is when it's hot and dry. Hot and dry to an insect is 72 degrees, our room temperature. And when humidity gets down to single digits, like our homes are right now, and then that's when they hatch. And then you can see the small webbing is usually what you see also after you see the sticky surfaces. And the webbing shows up in that bottom picture, on the very bottom right. And then when you look at the underside of the leaf, it looks like a lot of dust and little particles. And then over in the left bottom, you can see what the leaves will look like. They have that yellow stippling effect. And the reason they look yellow stippled or yellow spotted is these insects have a needle mouthpart, and they insert it in the leaf and suck a section dry. And then they move around, and everywhere they've inserted their needle mouthpart, you get that yellow damage to the leaf. And so these are really tough to get rid of. And we have a product, but we can't get the ready to use spray bottle because the manufacturers can't get the sprayer tops, because everyone's using sprayer tops to spray bleach to clear the COVID problem. So a lot of companies are having trouble with that. So we can't get our systemic. We've got it in a concentrate, but it makes 12 gallons. But I love the systemic the best because you spray it on, and it's a translaminar systemic. So all you do is spray one surface of the leaf, and it stays in those leaves for 30 days. Now, if you don't want to get 12 gallons worth of concentrate, we do have 3 different, and I talked about this last week in the Garden Coach, about a sulfur and pyrethrin spray, and you can spray that on, but you do have to spray all sides of the leaves to kill the spider mites, and you need to spray 3 weeks in a row. The first week kills the insects that are there. Second week kills any of the insects that have hatched from eggs, because the eggs hatch every 7 to 10 days. And then the third week you spray again, just for insurance, to make sure they're not there. Now, the next one I'm seeing a lot of is mealybugs. Excuse me, I'm going to grab my water. Okay, mealybugs. And again, they hatch from dormant eggs when it's hot and dry in the house. And and this was one of our clients here at Chalet sent me these pictures, and I asked her permission. She came in to get her product yesterday. I asked her permission if I could use her pictures because they're just so good. And this is Apotheos, Apotheos, and a vining plant. And you can see the white cottony mass is what the mealybug creates to protect itself from drying air, and also to protect its eggs and its young. But when you look really closely, and you can see it has all these legs, and it has those tails sticking out the end. I have to tell you, when I started falling in love with plants back in college, I had a coleus that got completely inundated with mealybugs. And mealybugs, when you get a huge infestation, you can smell them, and they smell terrible. And so I hate mealybugs. It was my first insect I ever had to deal with, and I hate mealybugs. So, but if you see these, you can use a contact insecticide, or you can use the systemic insecticide, which is wonderful. You sprinkle this over the surface of the soil, 2.5 tablespoons per 6 inches of pot diameter, water it in. It's absorbed in the plant in 5 days, and then it stays in the plant for actually 8 weeks. Wonderful product. I love this product. Okay, so now the next one, scale. We're also seeing scale as well. And this is scale on, I believe this is, I don't know what the plant is at the top, but you can see scale looks like these little brown bumps. They also produce honeydew, so you'll feel that sticky surface. And the problem with scale is that dark, hard cover protects them from any contact insecticides. So you really need to use a systemic. So use the granular, and then they get killed. Now, it doesn't kill the eggs underneath. The adult is underneath, and there's tons of eggs underneath there. So if you have scale, I recommend keep using this every 2 months for 3 applications, and then that usually gets rid of the scale problem. So again, we've been seeing a lot of all of those are the 3 bad guys I've been seeing so many of. Okay, now the next one, you know what I'm going to do? It's 10:30. I'm going to go up to the questions and answers because I'm seeing a couple of questions coming up. And okay, Joan, it says, what is the name of the sulfur pyrethrin spray for spider mites? Great question. I'm glad you asked that. Okay, there's 3 products. One is the Bonide, and it's in a 32-ounce spray bottle, and it's called Tomato and Veg Insect and Disease Control. And then we also have it in a product called Natria, Natria, and it's a 22-ounce bottle, spray bottle. And then we have a little bottle, I believe it's 16 ounces, and it's a little finger, spray bottle like that. And it's called 8. And it's also from the Bonide company. But the active ingredient in all of those is sulfur, and then also pyrethrin. Great question. Thank you so much. Okay, so I can mark this answered. All right, and then done. And then the next one, Joan again, can mite spray be used on edible plants? If you're using the tomato and veg, or the Natria, or the 8, it can be used on edible plants because it's really easy to wash off. The systemic, as long as you're not eating any of the crops within 8 weeks, you can use the systemic, but you're better to use the contact ones. So great. And here's another one. Here's Mary Biardo. On a large aloe, one long arm is completely deflated. The others are great. How do I know the difference between over and under watering on succulents? Okay, that's a great question. For over and under watering on succulents, if you underwater, the leaves get flat. And they're not dying. That's their modus. That's how they survive. And so then when you water them, they puff back up. And really the only way to tell if you've, underwatered a succulent is if when you do water it, it doesn't come back. And by that time, usually all the leaves and the tips, the very ends of the plant have turned brown. So it's really hard to underwater a succulent. Now, overwatering is a completely different thing. When you overwater, the worst thing to see is when the base of the plant or the stem going into the ground gets soft and mushy. If that's happened, pitch it. You can't save it at all. And the other thing that can happen is the bottom leaves on the succulent will turn yellow before the stem gets mushy and starts rotting. So just to be safe in these winter months, you cut your watering cycle by half. So if you would, in the active growing season, like the summertime when it's out in full blazing sun and you're watering once a week, you would drop that down to every 2 weeks or even once a month in the slower growing winter months. And you're at the every 2 week stage right now because our days have gotten longer and longer. Once a month is more like December and January for succulents. Good question. And then this is Usha. I missed. Would the systemic granule take care of mites? No. The systemic granules does not take care of mites. It's the active ingredient is imidacloprid, which does not take care of mites at all. So you have to do a miticide if you want to take care of mites. And you would use a sulfur-based product or any of the ones. Talfenazole is the systemic miticide. Great question. Okay, I'm going to go back to, I'm still sharing the screen. Okay, here we go. I'm going to just minimize the question and answer box. All right, now the next problem and the reason I want to talk about this today is because of temperatures above freezing, we can actually get out and use liquid repellents on our plants. So there's been so much damage out there because of the snow cover and the extreme cold. The rabbits in particular have just kind of hunkered down underneath the snow, and they're just chewing the bark and the foliage up, the closest plants that they're near. So arborvitaes are getting just absolutely ruined. Any sweet barked plant like serviceberry, crabapple, check those because they've been eating the bark off at ground level. Roses are being decimated. So get out and spray with the plant skid. Plant skid is the best. And spraying now, this time of year, it will stay on the plants, the surface of the leaves that were sprayed and the bark and the stems that are sprayed for 60 days. We're going to start getting liquid precipitation rather than frozen precipitation. When we're in the frozen precipitation time, this lasts for 90 days, but now we're going into a 60-day, and that's really good. If you spray now, that's really going to protect your plants for the rest of the winter months. And I heard one weather person say, and he was one of the younger ones, on Channel 7, and he was saying, "Oh, looks like we're not going to see any more cold temperatures going into the rest of the season." I'm like, I don't believe that till I see it. So protect the plants just to make sure. The other thing, and we have it in the spray. We also have it in granular. The granular is really effective to sprinkle under the plants so the rabbits don't try to make a home under the plants, but that probably should have been done back in November. but I hate saying that. I hate saying, you know, you should have done this, but that's okay. And then see here, this is what the arborvitae are going to look like again this year. And see the bark in the upper right-hand corner where they just chewed the bark. And I've got plants in my own garden that look like this right now. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I know better. I know better. And then the roses, these were my roses from 2 years ago. See down the bottom right-hand screen. They just ate them all the way down to the ground. And I'm not going to claim that these were my rabbits. I just found these photos, but and I would never claim a rabbit anyway. We're also going to see, it's early for the shredding, you know, of that, but I wanted to bring this up to show that the lower picture, the bottom picture, where a deer is right up on this patio, just using that potted plant as its salad bowl. So use the plant skeet is wonderful for deer. It's one of the best things you can use for deer. Okay. Oh, here we go. And this shows winter damage. This was taken in the summertime, but it just shows that, you know, the damage, and then showing wilt proof, you know, using your wilt proof as that great spray. Okay. Now let me check the questions again. I'm going to check the questions and answers. Okay, here we go. Are these, okay, D. Santucci, boy, D, this is your favorite topic. You ask this every week. Are these insecticides organic? The systemic is not, it's a synthetic. And D, I want to train you to use a better term. Are they earth-friendly natural? And the Bonide tomato and veg is an earth-friendly natural. And the company that taught me to use that, and the research that taught me to use that term is the Neudorf company out of Germany. They invented the slug bait that is based on iron phosphate. Now, iron phosphate is not organic when you use the true term of organic, but it is earth-friendly natural. Phosphorus is in the soil and iron is in the soil. And so it's earth-friendly natural. The same with the sulfur-based insecticides and fungicides, sulfur pyrethrin. The sulfur is an earth-friendly natural element. It's occurring everywhere, and it will kill the mites. It also controls any fungal diseases. The pyrethrin that's in those products is organically derived. It's derived from organically grown daisy plants. So you can say it is organic. It's organically derived. But I really want to train everybody to use that term, earth-friendly natural. Is this earth-friendly natural? Because there's another product out there, copper, and copper soap. Copper octanoate is copper soap, and it's earth-friendly natural. And you spray it on, and it will kill any bacteria and any fungus on plants. So train yourself to use that term, and then yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to say I answered this one live. Done. And Mary, this one live. Done. Usha answered it live. Here we go, and done. And D answered it live. Done. Okay, and this is Cindy Lubeck. I plan to do my midwinter shrub pruning of my shrubs this week during this warm-up. Is it too warm to do so? Not at all. It's not too warm. It's great for humans, and it works great for the plants. You know, so good idea. And this is Mary Biardo again. I'm thinking of starting some watermelon seeds inside, then transfer outside when the ground warms. Can we even grow watermelon here? Yes, you can. And normally I don't encourage you to start anything in the cucurbit family inside, but the watermelon crop is a much longer time for harvest. So yes, it's good to start it and transplant it outside. Excellent, excellent. Okay, Dee, thank you for telling me. Thank you. Okay, this is good. And then Donna, I have a hydroponic growing system and growing a great crop of algae. What should I do? Well, okay. There's a great product called, it's an Algaecide that it's so cool. It is a single cell plant herbicide, and it doesn't hurt anything else. And you can come to the store, and it's in our, this was not on the, Donna, I'm going to have to get back to you. Do me a favor and send me a direct email, jenniferb@shaleynursery.com, and I'll send you the name of the product. Okay. All right, let's go back. And I'm going to go back to, and because, oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's do this. Okay, now this takes me to my next topic is you really want to buy all your seeds right now. Hearing people saying that they started their watermelon seeds, buy your seeds. We have all the seeds up, and we've got Renee's seeds, we have the Hudson Valley seeds, Botanical Interest, and Seed Savers Exchange seeds. Be sure and buy them early. I heard from Renee Shepard, the owner of Renee's Gardens, that all of us garden center people doubled our orders because of the sales we had last year and how we ran out last year. And so her warehouse was completely empty, and they were scrambling to get things repackaged, so to do more reorders. But hearing that makes me realize we could run out of seeds. So make sure you buy your seeds now. Be careful about starting them too early. I want you to hold off on starting seeds until the 15th of March, which is 8 weeks until the frost-free date here in the Chicago area. Now, anything that's cool season, like peas, lettuces, spinach, radishes, you can actually start those as early as now, and then plan to put them outside by the 15th of April. So now I've got a neat idea. It's not on the list, but I had to show you this because and I'm gonna stop sharing this screen for just a minute because you got to see this. It's pretty cool. Okay, so for 2 years, the last 2 years, we have been unable to get inoculant for the peas and bean crops, and look what we got. This is Legume Inoculant, and it's used for peas like sugar snap peas. I love these. These are called sugar daddies, and they're so good. And then beans. So like your bush beans, if you want bigger crops, quicker growing plants and healthier plants, come and get some of the inoculum. And it's this black powder. And for like peas, it's also wonderful for sweet peas. If you haven't been happy with your sweet peas, you want to take a nail clipper and just nick the seed a little bit. You want to kind of crack the seed, soak them in an hour in water, let them drain. And then for a small packet of seeds, this is a 15-gram packet, you use 1/3 of a teaspoon of this. And if you're going to plant all the seeds, you can do them in this packet. I like to put them in a separate baggie or a separate bound bag, shake them like you're doing shake and bake chicken, and then plant them right away. And what this inoculum does, this is a bacteria, beneficial bacteria that, and we have 2 size packets. And what this does is this encourages the nodes that form on the crown of the plant and the roots. And these are the nodules that pull atmospheric nitrogen out of the air and put it into the soil. So these legumes are beneficial because they're nitrogen fixing. That means they pull the atmospheric nitrogen out of the air and put it in the soil, and it makes it easier for them to use and all the other plants that are growing around them to use. So we have it in stock now, and it's on the back side and end cap of one of the Botanical Interest seed racks. So people are so excited that we finally got it back in again. We had not been able to get it. Okay, so let's go back to sharing the screen. And there's some more questions. Here, we're going to share the screen one more time. Here we go. All right. And then the next one. Oh, okay. I'm going to show you. Look, this is the view in the main area of Chalet. We got a truck in yesterday, and we got 2 trucks in. 1,200 foliage plants. 1,200. Look how it looks. Look how gorgeous these plants are. The main entrance. So even just coming in and breathing the oxygen is fantastic. So come in. We're also doing an orchid sale, all the Phalaenopsis orchids, and we got 2 shipments of Phalaenopsis orchids, not just the whites anymore. We've got tons of beautiful flowering ones, some other wonderful dendrobiums and epimediums, as well. And and Paphia, and the lady slippers. So beautiful, beautiful. But it's the Phalaenopsis that are on sale through this weekend, 20% off. And then let's do another picture. Oh, okay. We're going back to my, always know that you can bring your samples and send your photos directly to me at jenniferb@shalleynursery.com, or also to hello@shalleynursery.com. Either of those works great. And then this is my geeky outfit. And look at my old, that's about 20 pounds ago. And with my old logo and my old Chalet shirt. And then I'm bragging about, I love my microscope, and I'm just showing you again how the powdery mildew looks so great on here. And this is, you can see how large the plant was and how big it looks up on the, on the microscope. Okay, so no, I'm going to stop sharing right now. I think that's the end. Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. Let me go back just so I have something on that screen. I'm going to stop sharing and then answer the rest of your questions. And here we go. Here we go. All right. This is Catherine. How do I start seeds that need cold weather incubation? Oh, that's a great question. Okay, when you're starting, especially perennials, if you need to have that cold treatment, and that is called, oh my God, I'm just blanking on the Latin term, but you don't have to know it. All right, what you do is you take the seeds and put them in a baggie with sand and it's slightly moistened, and then put it in the refrigerator, and you want to leave it there for 6 to 8 weeks. And that will give it the same treatment as if it was outside, in the ground. And then it makes it easier to spread those seeds with that sand. And you can spread it out in the garden as soon as the snow thaws away and melts away and opens up the area where you want to plant. And that was an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. The fun line that I love, our native seeds, is Prairie Future Seeds. Randy Powers is the owner, and he's got all these wonderful instructions on how to treat seeds. Okay, here we go. Here's Susan Moynihan. How soon can I preen my beds to avoid all the clover that visited the beds last year? Well, if you've killed the clover and gotten rid of the preen, won't kill existing weeds, but it will prevent the seeds from germinating. I wouldn't waste the preen until the 15th of April. Put it down 15th of April, and then it lasts for 8 weeks. And then keep treating every 2 months to keep any seeds that are in the ground from germinating. Great question. Great question, Susan. Thank you. And then let's keep going down. And this is Jen. The photo of the arborvitae you showed us, could it really be rejuvenated since it is totally brown? Oh, the photo that I showed is dead. It's gone. That one, it was brown all the way up on all sides. It really, it really got, it was right next to the pavement, and the reflect, so that can't be brought back. That I'm sorry if I led you to believe that could be brought back. I was showing that as an example of the damage that can occur. Okay, all right, and then here we go. I'm just gonna get rid of some of these. Okay, you guys have such great questions. This is excellent. All right, this is okay. Oh, I did this one. Cool. All right, and done. And let me go back so I can see what I look like when on here. Here we go. Some other fun things I just was going to throw in for just to kind of tease you about what I'm going to talk about going into for Garden Coach, is look at this wonderful line of LED lights that we have. They use much less electricity, and it's called Miracle LED brand. And this one is the absolute daylight spectrum. So it's a full spectrum, all the way from the red range all the way through to the blue range. We have separate bulbs that are the red range when you want to trigger something to go into bloom, and then we also have the blue range that is good for plants that you want to help get much bigger, grow vegetatively or to make leaves. So this is a neat new system. We had little brackets And with shades, you can buy also to put them in, but these will fit into a standard lamp, you know, and give you a broad spectrum. I was going to show you the bottom of it and show you how it fits into like a standard lamp. So these are wonderful. And I'm so thrilled that our buyers, you know, brought these in. Another thing I wanted to show you is this cool, and I did this for a garden club, and these are the Windowsill. These are the Windowsill seed starting kits, and they use the Jiffy, the little Jiffy pods. These are sphagnum moss, and you hydrate them, and you can see they're hydrated. They puff up, and then there's a hole in the top where you put your seeds. And then when you're germinating, the germinating needs to be warm and moist and humid. So you put the top on, that keeps it humid, and it traps the humidity around the seedlings. And then as soon as any green leaves appear, you take this off and set it in a sunny window. And that's why I love this. See, it's narrow enough to fit on a windowsill. And you put it in a sunny window, and it stays about 10 degrees cooler next to the sunny window. And so it slows down the metabolism of the seedling, so they get thick. The stems get really thick and sturdy. And so this is a neat thing. And you can reuse this year after year. Just buy replacement plugs, and you put them down in here, and then sterilize your tray and your top, and reuse it every year. So this is from Jiffy. It's called the Jiffy Windowsill greenhouse. Really cool. But don't be tempted to keep the greenhouse going. Once they germinate, this plastic top will really reduce the amount of light that comes into the plant. So always take it off, make sure you keep it nice and hydrated, keep it nice and moist, but take that top off so it gets, they need bright light and cooler temperatures, cooler temperatures. I think I'm going to check to see if we've got 4 more questions. I'm going to open up the question box again. You guys are great. This is wonderful. Okay. Oh, I think, I got, this is, okay. Jen again. It's Jen or Glenn? Jen, Gen. Regarding Preen, how far into the season should you continue sprinkling in the garden? August or October? I think, well, see, I always do it April. That takes me April, May. I do it again the 1st of June. That takes me June through July. I do it the 1st of August. That takes me August through September. And usually that's enough. Unless we have a really warm fall, then you might be smart to do it again in October. But boy, it works beautifully. Now, if you don't want to use the synthetic form of Preen, it also comes in an organic or earth-friendly natural form that's made from corn gluten meal. You can also just buy a bag of corn gluten meal, but it doesn't come in a handy shaker container. So okay, let me answer this live. Okay, is it acceptable? Here's acceptable to use a 10-10-10 or a 2-2-2 fertilizer on houseplants since I don't have a 795? Well, yeah, I'd rather, this is Eric and Jane. I'd rather have you use any fertilizer than nothing. But the reason I really promote the Dynagrow is because of all the micronutrients in it. So but if you don't have it, start using what you have, and that's better than not doing anything this time of year in particular. Okay, and here's Jen again. Can you start seeds early if you have raised beds with plastic covers? You mean outside in the garden, raised beds, plastics covers? Jen, no. The earliest you could do that would be April, the first 2 weeks of April. But a good question, really good question. Okay, let's see. And then, here's another one from Jen regarding Preen. How far in the, I answered that. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. And let me go, I'm gonna get back out of here. I love that everyone's using the Q&A section. I like that better than the chat one in it, and I don't see anything in chat. Thank you for using the Q&A. It's so much more efficient. Okay, and it looks like we still have 26 people. You guys are the best. You guys are the absolute best. And it's been so fun seeing so many people, coming back into the store. It's like the robins coming back, for the springtime. So I hope to see you soon in the store, and then you'll be really amazed at how our visual team and our merchandising team has rearranged the garden center area. All the cabinets and shelving units are in a different orientation. They're going east and west rather than north and south. And so it has just really opened up the garden essentials. We call this garden essentials. It's really opened it up. And then my diagnostic desk is right out in the open. It's really easy to find the microscope and me at the microscope. So and know that you can always, call us with your questions. And that number is, you call the general Chalet number, 847-256-0561. And that will take you to the customer call center, and they'll direct your call to the right person. And or you can email them at hello@chaleynursery.com, or directly to Jennifer at Jennifer B. All of our emails are our first name, our last initial, at chaleynursery.com. So I want to, here's 4 more questions. Let's check. Okay, because we still have 5 minutes. So here, I can see them right here. Karen, thank you. Thank you so much for hosting such an informative session. Thank you so much. Thanks for attending, and spread the word, because I'm doing the garden coach every week on Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. And you might see some repetition of some of the great products because it's week to week. But I'm trying to keep it, with fresher ideas and then some of the cool samples that I get in. My microscope is so fun, and the people, everyone loves to see the microscope. So okay, and then let me just make sure. I've answered all of them. So thank you so much. It's just such a pleasure being able to do this, and it's so wonderful that we've been able to do this virtually, and that you all are following us virtually, since we can't do the Learning Center just yet. I'm hoping all of you have been able to get your vaccinations. I'm on a wait list, and because we're considered essential, I'm an essential worker, agricultural. Don't you love that? My grandfather would be so proud. So, and hopefully I'll be able to wear my garden hat in the next couple of weeks for Garden Coach. So everybody, here's one more question that came in. It was just another thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I enjoy this. I really enjoy doing this. So come in and see me. All right. Thank you all. The other thing, tune in, sign up for the Orchid webinar tomorrow. The orchids, everyone was so excited about the orchid lecture that I gave, I guess it was 5 weeks ago, that we got so many questions and requests. I'm going to do a presentation tomorrow on how to actually repot, how to divide orchids, and how to treat them and to get them to rebloom. So it's going to be a fun one too. It's going to be kind of a webinar, or a PowerPoint, and then I'm going to share this, unshare the screen and actually do some hands-on work to show you how to do it, how to do that. You can also watch all of these on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and just type in Chalet, and then all of our webinars are posted there, and then all of the Garden Coach webinars are posted there too. You can watch them over. And then I've also done a video on how to repot a Phalaenopsis orchid, and I walk you all the way through visually. So it's really fun. You can find that at our website, but you have to go all the way to the very upper right-hand corner, and it's a little square. It looks like a little rectangle, and that's the logo for YouTube. And you click on that, it takes you to the Chalet YouTube channel. But it's just as easy to go to YouTube and type in Chalet, you know. So thank you, everybody. It is 10:59, and oh, here's one more question. No, why is that not showing? I'm going to go up. I'm going to open this up one more time to see if I can see them all. Oh, it's doing that. Oh, here we go. Okay, I had a follow-up question on the sand issue. The sand issue. Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. Susan, how soon can I preen? They say you should throw a little fertilizer in your soil, your compost. What kind of fertilizer? Oh, okay. They're talking about Susan, you're talking about fertilizer in the compost bin. Any fertilizer is great. My favorite is the Dr. Earth because it's organically based and it has natural levels of calcium in it. Okay, and Cindy Lubick said thanks a bunch. Marion Wolf says another great session. You do a wonderful job covering relevant issues. Thank you so much, Marion. Thank you. And Catherine, I have a follow-up question on the sand issue. The sand issue. Catherine, I'm not sure I understand that one. So send me a direct email, Catherine, and send it to Jennifer B at chaleynursery.com, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, and I think, let's scroll down a little more. Okay, there's Jen regarding Preen. We did that one. Thank you, anonymous attendee. Feels like spring now that we have the sun and can buy seeds. I agree with you, anonymous attendee. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna sign off now. And thanks for your great questions. Okay, bye-bye now.